Here we go. Milos Kerkez is coming to Liverpool. Liverpool have agreed to sign the left back from Bournemouth for a fee of £40 million. So he will be coming to Liverpool, and that would mean then, unfortunately, that one of Robertson or the Greek Scouts has to leave. And from the looks of it, the Greek Scouts has no intentions of leaving. So that would mean that looking at Robertson's age, I think he's probably on his way to Atletico Madrid. And for me, obviously, I'm not comfortable with that idea. Although we all saw it last season that Robertson was really a shadow of his former self. When I think about like how terrible he was in most games, I always look back to that game when we played against Arsenal, when Saka was from an injury. I think that was the first game he came back to against Liverpool, where he managed to bully Robertson throughout that entire game. And obviously with games to come, we also saw just how different he was. He was just no longer the same, and obviously that has to do with age. Now with the Greek Scouser, of course, we know that age is with him. He's still not even above 30. He's probably 28 now, or 27 if I'm not mistaken. So now that would mean bringing Kerkez. He's a lot younger, he's faster, he attacks, he defends, he crosses, he does everything that is required of a modern fullback, just how Robertson used to do it in his younger years. So then that would mean that the Greek Scouts obviously will remain as a backup option, and Milos Kerkez will just go in. But if it doesn't happen, well, I'll still be glad to still have three left backs. I mean, it's going to be a very tough season. Too many competitions obviously to play, so to have these type of players that have played at the highest level, I'm talking about the Greek Scouser and Robertson, of course, would be an addition. And obviously it'll be also good to impart the knowledge, the experience to players like Kerkez. So it would be a very good addition, but I doubt that would be. They're trying to just sell the players that they're not gonna need so that they can be able to invest in other positions. The positions such as, like, we need a striker, and right now we're flirting with the idea of bringing Isaac, which I don't think really that's gonna be possible. He's gonna be too expensive, and also I wouldn't expect Liverpool to just go that route. He's just too expensive. Ekitike is much better. He's a safer bet for me. He'll be a lot cheaper than Isaac, right? And also, I mean, he knows how to hold the ball. He knows how to dribble. Do you know what I mean? He can actually make something alone. He doesn't really require other players to do things for him so that he can just tap it in. Of course, I'm not trying to say that Isaac is that player. He's equally as good, but he's just too expensive. And with the prices that are currently going on at the minute, that Newcastle are going to expect from Liverpool, that's just another way for them to say that this guy is not really for sale. That's just their way of saying that. And Liverpool to just go out of their way to do that, I don't think that's a wise choice or a good idea. We saw what happened between Barcelona and PSG when they sold Neymar to them. They just came up with a very weird price, a price to just fend anyone away that's interested in Neymar, and PSG went on to buy that. And would we then say that Neymar was successful at PSG? I don't know, because I mean, before he got there, they were winning the league, they were winning the domestic cups. When he got there, they still continued doing the same thing. Did they win the Champions League? No, they did not. After he left, that's when they won it. So really, his tenure there was not a success. Which also, I always take it with a pinch of salt whenever you're bringing in these expensive players. Darwin Núñez, we should have learned something there. He was expensive when he came. I think he was the highest player that we bought at Liverpool, Núñez, and today we are looking to just send him away. So sometimes we should be very careful of buying these expensive players. But with Isaac, you have the fact that he has been in the Premier League for at least 3 seasons, and he's improving season in and season out. What better way, or how high will his ceiling be, with players like Salah, with players like Diaz, with players like McAllister, with players like Gravenberch, with players like Verts, you know what I mean? So he definitely will improve, but he's going to be too expensive. I mean, at that amount, we're expecting 50 goals in the league alone. That's how much we're expecting, and just to fend off that pressure, I think he's okay wherever he is. I know he might want to come to Liverpool. We want him to. I want him to, but that's just too much. That's just too much a price tag, and I don't think we'll be willing to go that far. Ekitike is the safer bet. Even if he doesn't do as well, although it's 70 million is still a lot, but even if he doesn't do as well, it's okay. You won't get abused, for having spent something like 200 million. It's always crazy how FSG, bought Liverpool for like 300 million pounds, and today in one window, that's how much they're willing to spend. That is amazing, and I like that also. I like that for the fact that when we won the league, right, in 2019, the following season we were terrible. We were the worst team to defend the title. And I think right now FSG is trying to do something different, And I am, like I said, I've been saying, right, that I would have loved to be a fly. I would have loved to be a fly in that meeting where FSG and all the the people that are responsible to bringing a manager into the club were present. I would have wanted to be there to hear what was the discussion. Was it that, what, we're not gonna really give you much now when we appoint you, but after the season, if you impress us, then we are willing to bet on you and we'll buy whoever you want us to buy, And I think he exceeded their expectations because he went on to win the league. That's how they're just, going all out. They're going to make sure that they're going to go for the Premier League again. Look at Wirtz. I know he's new, and I know that also recently German players haven't really shown as much as we expect them to in the Premier League. But with Wirtz, man, if you see the type of play that he brings, the assist, the goals, that's a very good addition. We're relieving the pressure from Mo Salah, because if you look, Mo Salah just scored so many goals, and with Wirtz, he's gonna be that guy, and he's also very good at giving good balls. Something that Trent was doing, but obviously having lost him, Wirtz now will have to take in that role to make sure that he assists Diaz, he assists the striker, whoever it will be, he assists Salah. So this is exciting times for Liverpool. We have to dream as much as we can. These are exciting times. We're definitely going to go out guns blazing. We're going to fight for the Premier League again. And also Kwanzaa, unfortunately, he's someone whom I looked at and thought, what, he can take the baton from Van Dijk, but for the past 2 seasons, I don't think he has done enough to convince me. In fact, what he has done for the past 2 seasons was to, prove me that he's not really the right type of player to, to take Liverpool to the next level. And also, I'm not really giving up on him. He's still young. He's going to learn. He's made so many mistakes, but above all, what I've liked about him is his attitude. He's always willing to, to continue and not let it drown him. He's made so many mistakes. He's someone who scores own goals for fun, I might add. We saw how many times he has done that, and that's a bad luck that he doesn't seem to shake off. He keeps on just doing that over and over again. Now we're going to send him to Leverkusen, and I hope for our sake that we put in a buyback clause, just in case if he gets his act together, we can be able to bring him back to Liverpool. But as luck would have it, we are monitoring Mark, Gay. Obviously, if we send Kwanzaa away, McGay then will be brought to Liverpool. And I couldn't have chosen anyone better. I think he's the perfect fit. He's very good with long balls. Obviously, playing for a team like Crystal Palace, there's not much you're going to do with the ball. So any team that you play against in the league obviously is bigger than you. So what you do then is sit back and just rely on long balls. And that's what he is good at. He's very good at defending. These interceptions are always perfect. So to have a player like him when we're playing against teams that hold possession, when we're playing against teams that know how to, do all those sort of stuff, when we have runners like Diaz, when we have runners like Salah, when we probably have a runner like a striker, he's going to be the right type of player to do that. We know Van Dijk does that. We know Konate does that. Gay will also do that. So we're good in that. So I cannot wait to have him, to Liverpool. I mean, every position right now, we're buying the right type of players, the right type of quality that is needed to take Liverpool to the next level. And this is what we want, man. This is what we want. In the Champions League, we're definitely going to do better than what we did last season. And shout out to FSG, man. Shout out to them. We have complained as Liverpool fans for the longest time. We've complained for the longest time. But these guys, they're good businessmen. They're good businessmen. Right now, they're ready to take Liverpool to where it belongs, to ruling Europe, to ruling the Premier League. This is gonna be fun. Also for the Premier League, for the Premier League. Last season obviously, Pep didn't win anything, right? Yes, he didn't win anything. So next season he's going to try by all means to win. We've seen also the players that he's brought in. Definitely, there's a lot to expect there. We're also waiting on Arsenal to see who they're going to bring in. Definitely, they're going to try to bring a striker. Not really sure if they will be able to bring in Kerkez. He's too expensive for them. So then now we're going to have to look closely to who they turn their eyes to. Who are they willing to bring? And all I'm going to say is that, look, they should just bring in the type of striker that the manager wants. I know they've backed him. They need to back him. They cannot, back down now and say whoever is too expensive, so we're not going to get that for you. Do what he wants. Do what the manager wants so that he can be able to bring glory days. I mean, that's a squad that is not too far from winning trophies. That we know, that we see. They're scary, those guys. They know how to play ball, and they're literally growing up together. They were obviously youth 3-4 seasons ago. Right now, they've grown up together. They understand each other better. What they're short of is a striker, someone who can just make something out of nothing. When it's tough, he gets an opportunity, he scores. That is something that Arsenal needs. And how difficult things are going to prove to be next season, they definitely need a prolific striker. And Kerkez is that guy for me. So obviously Wirtz has been signed right now. Wirtz has been signed, so that's a done deal for Liverpool. We're going to wait to see if Kwanzaa is going to go to Leverkusen. If he does that, then we're going to bring in Gay. From there, then we're going to find a striker, of course. And I would like to believe they're going to have to do that before pre-season so that Slot gets to understand what he works with. From there on, everything seems like it's just going to be smooth sailing for us Liverpool fans. Thank you for watching until thus far. Please do not forget to like and subscribe and comment too. See you again on the next video. Bye-bye.